Pregame.com.
Got a bonus video this week in college football. Kansas State at Oklahoma State. Line open 21-67.5. Line still 21. Total up to 69.5. No surprise. That should keep climbing. You have a lean on this game. You're going to tell us why we're doing this video. Personally, when it comes to Kansas State, I give up. I don't know. I thought they were overrated. I had to eat my words. Then I said, you know what? Maybe this team is better than I thought. I jumped on them, and then they got blown out and annihilated. So I think the best thing for me to do is take the advice I was offered on Twitter. Just leave the team alone.
Yeah, sometimes you just don't have a good feel for a team. I just think there's a ton of value here. And Kansas State was blown out last week against Oklahoma, and I kind of joked about it last week how they were higher rated in the BCS, but yet they were a 14-point underdog to at home to a lower rated team, and it showed up. But I tell you, I went back, and since Snyder came back to Kansas State, he's 6-1 against the spread off a double-digit loss. This is a guy who gets his team well prepared after they were embarrassed the week before, and last week they lose by 41 points. Kansas State is 11-3 against the spread, is in the role of a road underdog. So these are good spots for Kansas State off of that embarrassing loss. Take a look at Oklahoma State. In one of our previous videos, we talked about how the general public likes to bet on high-scoring teams.
None higher than
There's
this.
none higher in Oklahoma State. They put up tons of points against everybody. But take a look at the turnover margins the last 6 games. And we also touched on turnover margins. These are individual games. +4 turnovers, +3 turnovers, +2 turnovers, +4 turnovers, +3 turnovers, +4 turnovers. There's not a team in college football that is not going to cover the spread when they're consistently getting every bounce you're getting. So even though this is a very good offense, puts a lot of points on the board, they're catching a lot of breaks in these turnovers, and now they're laying 21 points here to a team, Kansas State. They got crushed last week, but they're still a pretty good team. They beat the hell out of our Kansas the one week we had them against Kansas.
Exactly.
No doubt about it. But we're looking at a situation here in Kansas State who doesn't turn the ball over. Ever since their opening game, they have not lost a turnover battle in any game. In fact, last week, even though they lost by 41, they won the turnover battle. How many times does a team lose by 41 points
and not turn the ball over 3-4 times for that to happen?
That tells you right there that this isn't a team that's going to panic when they get behind in the game. They're going to stick with their game plan, and that's what we like here. Because when you're getting 21 points as a 21-point underdog off an embarrassing loss, if you're not going to turn the ball over
and panic and let it get out of hand.
That's right. And Oklahoma State's been living off of these turnovers. I don't think they're going to get them this week. So when you got a team who's used to having the turnover advantage and they're not going to get it, they're overrated at this point. They're a high-scoring team. I think there's a lot of value here with Kansas State.
You know, when you said let's do this game, I'll be honest with you. The only way I can look was to Kansas State because I think Oklahoma State is overrated. I mean, they're a good team, but this is too many points, I think, you know, and the spot really is good for Kansas State because of the fact what you said. This isn't the kind of team you really want to be backing as a favorite, you know, in that kind of role. Instead, you're getting them catching 3 touchdowns. Last week, I think, against Oklahoma, I think the pressure more than anything else got to them. You know, here we are undefeated, a shot against Oklahoma, who was just ranked as the #1 team in the country. And I don't think they had the maturity or even the talent to hang in there with Oklahoma. But I think they learned from that game. You know, after you see, I don't think Oklahoma State's better than Oklahoma, personally. And after you see Oklahoma, I don't think they're going to be as overwhelmed this week when they see Oklahoma State. And even though Kansas State, you know, I joked, if I say they're good, I lose. If I fade them, they win. You know, I've come to the conclusion they are a good team. You know, they didn't win those games by accident. They didn't go into Miami and win by accident. You know, this is a quality football team. They're just not a top 5 team in the country. I don't think Oklahoma State is either, though. I really don't think so. I agree with you. You know, as far as I'm concerned, it's Kansas State or leave the game alone. And you brought up some great points to where I'm thinking, I hope this line goes up over that 3 touchdowns. And for me, this might, be a bet.
Yeah, when you're taking a look at games you want to bet on, you have to realize where the line is going to go. I haven't bet this game yet because Oklahoma State, the public hasn't got involved. We're taping this on Thursday. Kansas State was just embarrassed last week. Oklahoma State, and I had Oklahoma State last week against Baylor. Baylor's one of the most overrated teams in the country.
Yeah.
And they ran all over them. But it's a situation where we may be able to catch 23 in this game come game time. So the betting situation, it's not just picking the winners of the games. It's picking when to bet the game and understanding what the general public is going to be doing with this game. And if you find one of those top teams, and I'm with you on this, you said Oklahoma's the better team.
Yeah.
We talked about this at the Tuesday meeting, and somebody asked, well, what they make the line? Oklahoma State is at home against Oklahoma, I believe, the final game of the season.
Right.
And they were asking around what the lines were, and everybody that I respected that was at the meeting said they'll come out as a pick 'em, which tells you and tells me that Oklahoma's probably 4 points better.
Yeah.
I have them 4 or 5 points better.
I agree with you 100%. I really think Oklahoma is the much better team. And what else I like about this spot is that this isn't one of those, BCS buster games where Kansas State, I mean, let's be realistic. Kansas State wasn't expecting to play for the national championship.
Right.
So getting their first loss last week isn't going to be as devastating as it would be if they did come into the season as a top 5 team, and were expecting to play in the big game. This team kind of found themselves in a great spot. We're undefeated, we're getting some recognition, but realistically, the goal for this season coming in, I mean, we all want to win a national championship. Every team wants to win the Super Bowl, the World Series, the NBA championship. But realistically, their goal coming into this season wasn't to play for the BCS championship.
Right.
That was not a realistic goal. Obviously, they're not going to turn it down if they ran the table, but it wasn't a realistic goal coming in. So I don't think that loss is going to hurt them on the motivational standpoint. And if anything, I think this might be a bounce back spot where they really want to prove that we are as good as we looked before that loss to Oklahoma. So I think you got a motivated team catching a lot of points against a team that I think is a tad bit overrated at this time. I like it, Bri. I really do.
Yeah, and it's a situation for Oklahoma State also. They're down to the point now where they've just got a couple cupcakes on deck after this game, and then I believe they have a bye before they play the Oklahoma game. So they're to the point now where they can start to see the big prize at the end of the rainbow. That's when you get a little bit overconfident. And you take a look at Kansas State, they may have been a little overconfident going into that game last week. They said, hey, this is a team who lost to Texas Tech. We're better than Texas Tech. We're really good. And then they got it slammed in their face. And the coach has been around forever. Whether he's been here or he's been retired, he's been around forever. And he knows how to prepare these teams. And as I pointed out, off of double-digit losses, they've been excellent with him at the helm. So I really like the dog here, and I'm just going to wait and play it as late as I can. Maybe we'll catch 23.
I agree with you. I'm glad we did cover this game. Don't forget, go to pregamevideos.com. All the college football videos, all the NFL videos from all of us here at Pregame will be on one big thread at pregamevideos.com. All the guys that made the videos will go in, comment, post their notes for these videos and answer any questions. And more importantly, I want to know what you guys think, the ones that watch the videos, handicap your games, what opinions you have. Maybe pass along some information, some factors we may not have considered. Because again, we're all here to help each other, and at the end of the day, try to cash a ticket. It's going to do it for this week's videos. Make some money.